hopefully you'll be able to hear me, even though the camera is kind of far away. Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome to my book nook, except this isn't my book nook. I'm on vacation this week at my aunt and uncle's house in Virginia and I am enjoying it. I'm resting and relaxing and reading and it's wonderful. It's a new month, it's July, that means June is over, that means it's time for a wrap up. The air conditioning is very loud. So, how many books did I read in June? The answer to that question is 7 books for a total of 2,299 pages, which I think is a pretty good reading month. Actually, that's not true. 7 books, 2 excerpts, 2,299 pages. It's not half bad. If you have been following along on my reading vlogs, you already know what I've read. You've already known my initial thoughts and all that. But for those of you who just don't enjoy reading vlogs as much, which I understand, you can watch this wrap up because I talk about the books I read. So, let's just do it. First thing I read in the month of June was Dealing with Dragons by Patricia C. Reed. This book is about, I don't even know how to pronounce her name, Cimarine? I don't know. She's a princess who is told all of her life she's got to do all these princessy things and she can't do all this other stuff. It's a lot more fun. Her parents set her up with this guy and she runs away and lives with dragons and it's entertaining. Margaret from The Word Nerd suggested this to me for a book with funny side characters. Sad that. The dragons were hilarious. I would recommend it. It wasn't bad. It's not my favorite book that I read this month, but it wasn't bad, and I did enjoy it. And it was very humorous. Okay. Next book. This is probably my favorite book of the month. Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This book is so good. Okay, it is set in the future. Humans have colonized the universe. Some bad stuff happens. People are on the run. There's like a war. There's a really sarcastic AI. There's twists. There's turns. It's so good. I don't know why I waited so long to read it. The format is really interesting because it's written in there's instant messages and videos that are transcribed and there's pictures of ships and it's just so cool. It's so unique. The story is fantastic. I love it so much and I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. I'm probably gonna have to wait though because there's so many other series that I need to read that I'm not even getting into in July, but we're just chugging along here. But Illuminae was so good, 5 stars, loved it, would recommend. Guys, you need to read it. Just don't put it off anymore. Don't be like me. Book 3 that I read in July is Broken Frontier Anthology from A Wave Blue World Publishing and a whole bunch of authors and artists. Check out my review. I love this. I love the art. I love the stories. There were a few that were a bit confusing. Most of them were fantastic. I gave it 5 stars. Check out my review for all of my thoughts. But the point of it all is this is a good book. And it is a beautiful book. And it's so beautiful. This book makes me want to read more graphic novels. So yeah. Number 4. Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee. This was the group book for sidekicks for the Biblio games. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to read it. My library didn't have it. Didn't really have any extra money to buy it, but I had money to buy stuff at BookCon, and I found this book at BookCon, and I'm glad I did. I enjoyed it. It is set in the future, in a world where people have developed superpowers. Not all people have superpowers though. It's cool. Very predictable. Very predictable. The world building though was fantastic in my opinion. Some people didn't like it, but I did a lot. Loved the world building, loved how all the characters were very fleshed out and developed, but it was very predictable. Still though, I would recommend it. It's a great book. It's got a great story. I don't know if I'm gonna read the rest of the series. I'd like to at some point, but it's one of those things where it's like, this book didn't blow me away, so reading the rest of the series is kind of low priority. You understand what I mean? You probably understand. But yeah, it's a good book. I'm gonna see if I can donate it to my library. I'm not sure. My library's process for donating things sometimes it's just like easier for them to buy the books. Either way, I'm gonna see if I can, because I think this would be a great book to have in my library since we don't have it. No, I don't know. I'm going off on that. Book. We're up to 5. Confronting Old Testament Controversies by Tremper Longman III. This book was good. It's not that long, but it's a lot of words. It's very strenuous. There's a lot of information. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed Mr. Longman's opinions. I agreed with 3 out of the 4. I agreed with 3 out of 4 of his opinions on the topics of evolution, sexuality, history, and violence. I made a very long review. Not very long. The longest review I've ever made on Goodreads, which I will link in the description box. Check that out if you want to hear all of my thoughts. I would recommend reading it. It's written specifically for Christians. If you are not a Christian, you're probably not going to agree at all. If you're still open to the opinions, I would still read it. But if you're not open to the opinions of a Christian and you aren't a Christian, you're probably just going to be annoyed. I mean, I was even annoyed by some of the things he said, so, you know, there's that. But no, it's still a good book. My dad's reading it now. My mom wants to read it. So hey, if I can get my parents to read a book, that's awesome. Next up, we have To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. This book was so good. It is set in the town of Pinsbury Port, where Mr. Holm lives in a home manor with his labyrinth. That every year he has a competition where all the young men in the town can go into the labyrinth to try and whoever completes all these tasks and challenges and all that, whoever does that will get a scholarship to the prestigious Steamwork Academy. Full scholarship, everything's paid for, all that. So, you know, it's a big deal. It's a big event. Gives the lower class an opportunity that they wouldn't receive, and it gives the upper class kids a chance to, you know, prove themselves. This year, though, things go a little bit differently. Because our main character, Ren Teller, she and her cousin Selene decide that they're going to enter the labyrinth, to best the boys, to come out victorious. And it's a great story. So, read it. Again, this book was suggested to me by Margaret from The Word Nerd for a satisfying ending, and this one had such a satisfying ending. So, read it. If it's not on your TBR, add it to your TBR. It's really good. Look at the cover, too. It's gorgeous. It's just good. It is a bit annoying in some points. Well, the characters are a bit annoying. But, you know, characters. These characters were like, you could tell they were written to be annoying. It wasn't like an accident. It was purposeful. Also, there were twists. There were good twists. There's like one good twist. What am I saying? I don't even know. Yeah. So there's that. It was good. It was good. Finally, for books, I have A Hero's Blood by Chris Cummings. I was given this book by Chris to read. I enjoyed it. It's a little wacky. There are some issues. The writing needs a little bit of work, I think. The characters seemed kind of whiny. The pacing, but it was still enjoyable, and it made me laugh. Especially like the last 60 pages were just so ridiculous that you couldn't help but laugh. Also, the ending was very enjoyable. I liked the ending. So yeah, 3 stars for this one. Oh, To Best the Boys was a 5-star book, by the way. What else did I read? I read an excerpt of, I believe it's called The Light from Distant Stars. Very good. Very enjoyable. I also read an excerpt of Frankly in Love by David Yoon, and I won an ARC, and I cannot wait to read it. It might be at my house when I get home from this vacation, and I'm so excited because those first 50 pages were so good, so amazing, and I can't wait to read it. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it once it's done. Hopefully the rest of the book is going to be just as amazing as the first 50 pages. So yeah, that's been my reading month. June was fantastic. Participating in the Biblio Games, my first ever readathon, was so much fun. So fantastic. I loved it so much. I'm trying to read all the books I can. College starts at the end of August, and I don't know, I doubt I'm going to be able to read as much. So, yeah, just trying to read all that I can. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the books that I read. Let me know if you read any of them or if you plan on reading them now, because if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like listening to me talk about books, please subscribe. That is what I do. And I think that is it, so I will see you guys really soon. Bye!